Hi, my name is Johnny Nalty. A little bit about me. I'm 40 and I have no kids. And at this point, thank you. The one person that clapped. That was fantastic. Where was I? I don't have any kids. But if I did, at this point in my life, I think I would want to videotape the birth, you know? Because that way, if my kid comes up to me later on and says to me, "Daddy, where do babies come from?" I can say, "I'll do one better than that. Let me show you where you came from." No, it's true. I don't have any kids. But I do have friends that have kids. And one thing they say is, don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. They must say this 1,000 times, right? And then they wonder why the kid cries when they put them on Santa's lap. Could it be because Santa's a little bit bigger than he looks on the TV? Or is it that he's a bit of a pervert? A little creepy? I mean, who else could get away with saying stuff like, "Sit on my lap, little girl, and tell Santa what you really want. Have you been naughty?" Do you want to be on my nice list? Are you going to be in bed on Christmas Eve when I come over? Yeah, just creepy, you know? And if he's not creepy, at the very least, he's a stalker. Because after all, he knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. And, you know, that's words to a song called Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And to me, it's like it's a stalker song. Very much like Every Breath You Take, you know? Oh, speaking of songs, I make up lyrics to songs. Do any of you do the same thing? Yes. Okay, at least one person does. But I change it so the words have more to do with me, you know? So, for example, if loving me is wrong, I don't want to be right. And I sing that song every time right before I masturbate. And you know, if your parents come up to you and they say, masturbation causes blindness, I'm living proof that that is not true. This was a couple weeks back. You know, I had the house to myself. My roommate was out. My wife was out. I had about 2 hours. So I was thinking to myself, fantastic, I'll get one off. And so I found my favorite girl. I lit some candles. No, I actually had some tissue there. I was ready to go. I started doing my thing, and then, you know, I forgot to lock the front door. My roommate comes in. He doesn't see me at first, you see. So he turns. He looks at me, and then he goes, "Oh, God." And then he goes running up the stairs, and I'm like, "Oh, God." And I'm grabbing my pants, and I'm pulling them back up, and he's upstairs, you know, he's going like, "Is it safe to come down?" It was embarrassing. But thank you for the 3 people that laughed. That was good. But it wasn't as good as, you know, that wasn't as embarrassing, I'll get the words out, at the time when I was making love to my wife. And 2 weeks ago, we celebrated our 20th anniversary of our first date, if that makes sense. So we've been together for 20 years. Well, thank you. And a little bit prior to that, you know, we were, I wanted to make it special, so I had these rose petals on the bed, and I cracked open a can of champagne. I went all out, you know. And then we're making love, and everything's fantastic. And then I let out the loudest fart you have ever heard. And see, there's 2 pieces of this, you know, see? Because part of me goes like, "Oh, well, fantastic. I'm a comic. I can make fun of this, and we can move on." So I get out of bed, and I go, "Got a little captain in me," you know? And And then she's sitting up at this point, and so I sit down and I start doing a lap dance. And then I squish my man boobs in her face. And about that time, she said, John, I'm not in the mood. Let's go watch the movie. For some reason. So we did. We watched The Wizard of Oz. And I think The Wizard of Oz is misunderstood, and I stand by this. The Wizard of Oz is misunderstood, and you want to know why? It's because the Wicked Witch of the West is just trying to get vengeance for the death of her sister, the Wicked Witch of the East, who Dorothy landed a house on. That's murder. And then, bowing into peer pressure, she takes the shoes and she puts them on her feet. And since they're Jimmy Choos, that's grand theft. And then she goes down the yellow brick road. That's fleeing the scene of a crime. And in fact, one of her known accomplices, to his own admission, says he doesn't have a heart. So then, the Wicked Witch of the West catches up with her. And what does Dorothy do? She liquidates her. She kills her. Man, I would feel much safer if Dorothy was in jail. I would. Almost as safe as I felt when Martha Stewart was in jail, because I could walk down the streets of Connecticut and feel safe. Not worried about being mugged and then handed a recipe. I digress. Anyway, so so the movie's over, and I glance over, and my wife's asleep. And she looks wonderful. She looks like a little angel, So I started singing to myself, if loving me is wrong, I don't want to be right. And, I was sick, as Mr. Walker was mentioning. I was sick, and I missed the holiday called Columbus Day, right? So I wasn't able to do any Columbus Day jokes during that time. And so I know it's out of season. Here we are going into Christmas and New Year's and all that. But I just want to do it, okay? I want to test it out. Ready? So I go out, and I think I should have a holiday named after me. Because Christopher Columbus got lost. He was trying to find India and ended up in the Caribbean. Okay? Now, all he had to do was pull over to any 7-Eleven, and he could have gotten directions to India. It would have been fine. Or I had the little Magellan Road mate, and it would have told him where to go. But a typical man, he didn't ask for directions. See, I never ask for directions. I get lost all the time. So I think I should have a holiday named after me. Okay, that joke, I'm glad that I was sick. And that I didn't have a chance to do that joke. I feel sad now. See, look, I really should. Is that good? Like that? Anyway, so I digress. One thing, Mr. Walker was talking about President Obama. And have you guys heard of the birthers? Yeah. Okay. Now, the birthers say that President Obama is not a legitimate president because he wasn't born in the United States. Right? I was thinking to myself, this might be true. Think about this. They may have a point. Because, like with George Bush, I could get after George Bush all the time because of the way he talked. I can't get after Barack Obama because he speaks in complete sentences, right? But he does have one distinct thing that he does, and that is he talks with a pregnant pause. Very much like William Shatner. Ever notice you never see William Shatner and Barack Obama at the same place at the same time? And Bill Shatner is Canadian, so by that logic, they have a point. Okay, fine. My name is Johnny Nalty. Have a great tomorrow.